Welcome along to EXFL Tier 2 Season 11. We are here for round 2 out of 20. It's the Japanese Grand Prix at the Suzuka circuit. A sunny qualifying this time out. The opposite of what happened last week, where it was downpour down under in Melbourne. But we're here just a bit more north in the virtual world. Once again, 12 should pick up again once people return from holidays and whatnot. Alright, heading out with 1 minute already done of the 18-minute qualifying session. We have Mercedes out on track. It's Arab Chubster, who joined back in Season 9 near the midway point. Raced for Sauber after his reserve debut in Red Bull. Promoted to the Ferrari Works team pretty much last season. And now has made a switch over to Mercedes. Dello following in his footsteps a little after he obviously made his debut last season in Sauber and now has gone up to the Ferrari. He'll be hoping to make it more than one corner this time out after an unfortunate start to his season in Australia, where he became the first retirement after about 400 metres. We've got Navik back in the Aston Martin, a brilliant result last time out in 4th, qualifying, 7th or whatnot. Got caught up in the melee into turn 1, had a pen, maybe caused a few incidents, but it didn't matter to him. He finished 4th, got a 5-second, didn't change anything, still finished 4th. And he says he's not expecting anything today. I beg to differ. I genuinely think Evan could maybe get his first podium today. And we'll see what he can do. Like the colour choice of helmet with the white and the red dot in the middle. Looks very nice. GSRO Alfie making their debut today in the Ferrari before Yonda returns next week to take his seat back. So we'll see what they can do. Points today I think would be pretty good for them. So yeah, like I said, Dello heading out onto the track as well. He'll be hoping to show what he's made of. I think Australia was a bit of a missed opportunity. Bluey, points in the opener. P8 beating his teammate Nathan. He's definitely made a step up from the last game. And slowly but surely, he's doing better and better. Samurai then leads the World Championship after winning on debut in Australia. Pole and win. Perfected the strategy against the Sauber of Josh, who's unfortunately not racing today, as well as his teammate Charlie, who's also not racing today. They'll hopefully be back next week. So Samurai looking at the moment to be the favourite, but we'll see who else can challenge. Grush, Graham showed some solid, promising pace, but unfortunately he was caught in the melee as well in turn 1 in Australia last week, so didn't really get to show it. But hopefully this time around he'll be able to show us what he's made of. And Frosty Life in the McLaren, second race of the season, finished 5th last time out after qualifying 4th. It was a solid first outing for the Orange team, and here at Japan, where he's had a decent track record in the past, he'll hopefully go again as Chubster sets the pace then with a 29-1 as Frosty begins his lap. 131 races this week. This week marks for him. A couple more to go, and he will become the most experienced Tier 2 driver in history. For EXFL, Christian getting a bit of a slipstream from the Mercedes ahead of Eggy, but that makes him go very deep into turn 1 as Dirty Air obviously is a bit more of a factor on this game. Christian, who finished P10 last time out, will be hoping for more points and a bit higher. Warren in the Haas. Didn't race last week. Got a podium here last season in the torrential rain. Well, it's the opposite this time round in bone dry conditions. Obviously finished 2nd there. His best result in an EXFL Tier 2 race. So we'll see how he can go one season later. And yeah, Nathan, it was that just retirement glitch, leaving the session after you finished the race last week. So he was reinstated to P9. And hopefully he'll be looking for what is a 7th points finish in a row, which would be very impressive for the RB. And like I said, Eggy gave Christian a bit of a toe into turn 1, but obviously the dirty air kicked in. So Eggy, who finished on the podium for the third time at Australia last time out, his 17th podium. He now holds the record for most podiums without a world championship. But he's heading into this season with a big chance. And look at that Chubster, nearly 9/10 clear of Samurai. Chubster really setting the pace. What about his teammate Eggy to cross the line? And Eggy, by half a second now, makes it a Mercedes 1-2. So I don't know if there's some mistakes happening or what. But like we saw at the start of qualifying last week, big gaps. And then towards the end, it slowly got smaller and smaller. So I'm sure there may have been mistakes. This track is a real driver's track, challenging to get right and perfect. Obviously, it's been updated for F1 25 as Dello goes P3. And yeah, Samurai, I'm sure, will go again because that was not in the predictions for being 1.3 down. As Grush now puts his Red Bull on the second row as Warren in the background, I believe, as he's on the hard compound tyres. Some things never change. Carrying on from 24 to 25. So Warren just getting some data in, I guess. Alfie heading into turn 1 as well. Diving in. Taking a bit of a tight line, but then going really wide. And then through the S section in the Ferrari. With the red Lewis Hamilton helmet. It's actually quite a nice pairing. Making his way through the S section then. As heading into the pits is Samurai. Round Dunlop curve. I think you can clearly tell it's a controller player. Finishes the first set split 33-2. Heading into Degner 1 and 2. Under the bridge. The only track on the calendar to feature a figure of 8 layout. Into the hairpin then. Tight along the inside. You don't really want to run too wide. Lose your time. Keep close to the inside. Shave off the thousandths as we head into Spoon. Really revving the car out on the exit. Now climbing up through the gears and the hill. Heading into 130R. Flying by goes Alfie. Now just the chicane to go. Can be very bumpy on the exit. Very close to invalidating. But keeps it well. Stamp on the power. And it's back into the pit lane. They're not satisfied with that lap. Or they think they can go quicker again. So Chubster showing good pace. Obviously, his words, he said at the halfway stage of last season, he started to fall off a bit in pace. He obviously got a pole position at round 2 last season. But that was inherited because first got a grid pen. Well, we're at round 2 one season later, and he's currently second. As is Dello on another lap? No, he's spun. A place where, yeah, on the exit of Degner 2, that can catch you out if you get caught on the curb. So yeah, he didn't really score too many points in the second half, but he still managed to consistently carry on his point streak to, I think it was 23 races in a row. He did score points in every single race last season, to be fair to Chubster. And now it looks like this game is a chance to take that a bit higher and consistently score good points. And Mercedes look like a very strong lineup, probably the strongest lineup. Because if you remove everyone we promoted last season, Eggy's first and Chubster's third. And who's second? It was Yonder, and he's not racing tonight. So Mercedes are looking very strong. Eggy got his first win at the final race last season, but has never had a pole. He qualified second at the British Grand Prix last season. And currently, with 8 minutes 40 to go on his banker, he is currently looking for a first provisional pole position. Third in the championship, trying to gain on Samurai. And I know it's still very early days, but Samurai and Eggy are looking to be two very close contenders. But Samurai is now going to give it another crack. Down the start-finish straight then. DRS open, blasting battery. Diving into turn 1 then. Let's see what the championship leader can do. Very challenging with a little bit of a lock-up to get turn 1 right. But once you do, it sets you up for the fast-flowing sections of the S section. You can hear and see the commitment he's trying to do. Taking a lot of curve on the inside. So easy to spin. Under development of traction. Keeping it close to the left. finishing the first sector split. He's found half a second, so clearly there is a lot of time left in the lap that's 1.3 seconds off Eggy. He's got a Mercedes in front of him. Don't know if that is Eggy or not. Heading into the hairpin. Bit of a slide, the rear end stepping out slightly. The Mercedes gets out of the way. Blasting more battery. Once again, hugging the inside line. Now heading into Spoon. Using a bit of the track on the right, the AstroTurf, to size you up for the entry. Getting on the exit, making sure not to run too wide. Gets on the curb. And now he'll fly up the hill into 130R. The traffic being very obedient to get out of the way. He's 1.1 seconds up. He needs a couple more tenths in the chicane. The curb actually catches him out slightly. Diving in to the last chicane. Takes it a little cautiously, but he slides through. And it's been a pretty solid lap. Line of least resistance for the Williams. Is it provisional pole? Crosses the line. He's taken it back. 34 thousandths. Now it's Eggy's turn as he crosses the line to start his lap. And Samurai should hopefully get out of his way. But now it's Eggy's turn to try and go for his first ever Tier 2 pole position. Into turn 1 then. Takes it very nicely indeed. Slightly better than Samurai as he dives through the S section. The curves can catch you out slightly, but he's taken them very nicely indeed. Just flowing with the confidence. This track you need a lot of to excel, and he's doing very nicely so far. First sector split. Look at that. Nearly 3 tenths up. Absolutely on the limit. Not really put a foot wrong yet. Heading in to the hairpin as across the line. That was Frosty Life to go P4. Rear didn't step out quite like the Williams. Samurai still in front of him. But yeah, Eggy looking set to snatch back pole. He's got about half a minute left as across the line. That was Dello, I think. Or Alfie. One of the Ferraris. As he's taken Spoon well. And Samurai, I'm sure he won't want to give Eggy a bit of slipstream, but he is in front of the Mercedes. And this could actually help Eggy, who's 4 tenths up. Samurai helping Eggy. Hopefully he knows Eggy's there. Otherwise this may impede him slightly. And he is actually going to get slightly in the way and make Eggy run very deep. And invalidate into the final corner. Samurai may have not been watching his mirrors. At first it was an advantage, but then it all became undone. And in a bid, that has managed to keep him pole position. And Eggy will not be happy about that. Bit of an eyesore heading into the final chicane. That was so definitely going to be the new time for pole, being 4 tenths up. But, well, he's going to have to go again. And now the pressure's on. And Samurai, I guess he'll take, if it is reported, a penalty point or so. But we don't really see that too often. Christian still hasn't set a lap. Same with Nathan. Navik also hasn't really set a representative lap time. I was expecting him to be much higher up. And while there might be big gaps behind, like we saw last week with the closing stages, the fight for pole still very close. It was going to be probably about 3 tenths again between these guys. As Grush is up, 32-1. Wow, that is a quick first sector from Grush. He could throw his hat in the ring now. And he's got, well, I was going to say the RB to maybe give him a slipstream, but he's moved out the way. Fair enough. Finishing the middle sector split then. He's 1.1 down on provisional pole. He's 7 tenths up in the middle sector. May have lost some time slightly. Maybe his straight line speed is being affected, so his wings are easier into sector 1 to have more downforce. But around the final corner then, this should propel him at least up to 3rd. And he'll cross the line. And it is P3 for Grush with 3.5 minutes remaining. I'm not too sure he can go in the pits again unless he's fueled for one more run. But yeah, good effort from the Red Bull. Warren now out on the softs. Christian heading into turn 1. Nathan a few corners ahead of him. And it's the calm before the storm. You can see the Ferrari garage letting one of their cars go. And the Aston Martin of Navik exiting the pit lane. We'll look back to 11th and 12th, Christian and Nathan. Still kept it valid for half of the lap. So that's Warren going off there, just getting out of the way. It's going to be clear. Gets back on the grass as he's got the two cars behind him. There we go. So it was Alfie who headed out the pit lane, and now we see one of the Mercedes. I think that's Eggy, it is. So Nathan finishing the middle sector split, 12.9, I think. 12.2 for Christian. So final chicane for the RB. And Nathan will come across the line. His one and only time in this session puts him ahead of his teammate by just under half a tenth. And we'll see what Christian can do then. The second McLaren. P7 to make it McLaren, Ferrari. Then the two RBs, knocking Warren and Navik down to the 6th row. Samurai and Eggy out on track then. Grush might be going again then, as everyone else is on an out lap or an in lap. As Warren's diving into turn 1. This is going to be his only representative lap, really, after spending a lot of the session on the hard. Now he's on the softs, taking a lot of curb there, really trying to commit himself through one of the best sections in all of racing. Through Dunlop curve there, nearly onto the grass, going that wide. Finishing the first sector split then. 32-2, it's a solid first sector, that's up there with Samurai. But we know what Eggy's got in his locker as well. He was 4 tenths up before he invalidated. And look at the track map. He's got no one in front of him this time. Eggy, his first real chance to take his first pole position in EXFL Tier 2. And this could be the lap to do it. But we're going to look back to Warren as he's going to be one of the first to finish his lap. As everyone else is about to begin theirs. Bluey, Samurai is about to begin his. Looks like Bluey will be the last one to cross the line. Unless he's going in the pit lane. There goes Samurai crosses the line. We don't know how much time is left. Christian's in the pit lane, so 7th at best for him. Warren through the final couple corners. And we'll see what he can do then. Currently 2.8 down. It's not going to be pole position, but he'll cross the line. And he'll go up to P5. It's a top 5 for the Haas. Solid effort from Warren to find all that time. Nathan's in the pits. So that's 10th at best. Grush is in the pits. So yeah, 3rd at best. He damaged his wing. He might have tried to go again. Let's look back to Eggy's. Found time, but it's not a 0.1 like Grush was doing, but it's still good enough. Samurai making his way through Degna 2. Navik round the final corner. 6 seconds down. 6.2 seconds up. Stand by for a shock. Evan crosses the line. What a lap from Evan. Right at the end. Smashing the time. As Samurai's down, Eggy's up by the time he found. This time he gets the chicane right. And is it going to be Evan or is it going to be Eggy? I think we're going to have a new pole sitter in Tier 2. But which one is it? Across the line, Eggy can't do anything within half a second of Navik's time. And like I said at the start of the session, right at the end, watch out for Evan. And Samurai slightly up. But he's going to need to find 7 tenths as Chubster now goes to P3. So Samurai... as he slides through the last chicane, needs these crucial hundredths to at least get back ahead and split the Mercedes across the line for Samurai. And I don't think he got ahead. He didn't. It's 4th. Evan is on pole position for the first time ever in his 9th Tier 2 race by quite a margin. Wow. He said, don't expect anything from me. I had a little hunch that, based on Australia, he was cooking up something special. And yeah, if he can get his racecraft a bit more together, this is going to be a very exciting battle. I think Delo's qualified 5th in both races now. Look at that, 31.8. 38.4. Yeah, it was all in the first sector. He must have aced the S section. So much commitment. And it is a dry race. No one put anything in the chat saying rain or anything. So that's to be expected. Alright, a range of either medium or hards to start on. Should just be a one stop. Simple swap between them. Maybe a two stop, actually. But, I mean, it was a two stop in Australia for quite a lot. Eggy tried the one. We see Alfie switching to the softs there. So RB, 6th row. 5th row for Christian, out qualified by Frosty again. Alfie, P10 on debut. Warren, P7. Grush, I think he qualified 7th last week, so around about there. Dello 5th. Samurai got pole last week, 4th this week. Mercedes, very solid qualifying with 2nd and 3rd. And yeah, Navik, absolutely blitzing it. And as much as we thought Samurai and Eggy could be contenders, don't discount Evan now. The younger brother to our Season 8 world champion in Tier 2 of Logan. Stepping it up. Right then, let's see the tyres. Top 6, all on the mediums. Warren and Frosty. We know they love to extend their first stints on the hards. Same with Bluey. Christian and Nathan on the mediums, and Alfie looking to gain some ground at the start on those soft compound tyres. As a Frosty Life's been disqualified, usually 2 people have that, so unless he's hit someone who's in AI or something, I'm not too sure. Everyone was well behaved last week, I think. The only people who got disqualified who were the ones maybe who failed their parking on the grid. As that's a bit of lag there, I think, with Christian and the board. Is Eggy behind Samurai and Chubster? It looks to be that way. So he's dropped down to 4th in the order for some reason, and he's staying where he is. I mean, the real life rule is if you drop to the back, you have to stay there or start. I don't know if it's been changed in the last few years. That's always how it used to be. But that's obviously not a thing in the game. He's still behind his teammate in Samurai. Doesn't really matter. Navik trying to get temp in his tyres. This is the slowest you'll ever see a car go through 130R. But yeah, can he convert it? Can he make it 2 out of 2? For those who take pole, convert it into a win. As they'll line up on the grid then. And it's always a fun run down to turn 1. Will Evan point his car slightly right? Looks pretty much forward. It's tilted right a bit. Eggy tilting a bit left. And Chubster and Samurai. Dello, Grush. Warren still quite a way back. Christian on the grid. Alfie, Nathan, and the 2 RB. So I don't know what's happening to Warren. As look at that, we can see the Ferrari really out of place there. Both Ferraris and the Mercedes of Chubster. But Warren slots into his grid slot then. And we can get the Japanese Grand Prix underway. As we wait for the lights to come on to signal the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. Evan versus Eggy heading into turn 1 then as the Aston Martin and the Mercedes look wheel to wheel. Diving into turn 1. Evan versus Eggy and down the inside. Eggy makes contact with his teammate, with Evan, and slides down the order as there's McLaren going off there with Christian. Evan continues to lead then. Samurai 4th to 2nd. And it looks like Eggy went really deep and may have hit. Oh, as Warren's gone off there as well. And may have hit Evan. And that allowed the 2 Mercedes to make contact, but Eggy's still trying to get some ground, but makes another mistake into the grass and falls down at 8th behind Nathan. The 2 Ferraris up to 5th and 6th there. Grush up to 4th, and it looks like everyone managed to avoid damage, but there was still massive contact. So it's Evan, Samurai, Chubster, Grush, the 2 Ferraris, Nathan still in front of Eggy, Frosty, Bluey, Christian, and Warren down the order. So biggest gainers so far, Alfie and Nathan. As Eggy's making a pass on Nathan, who's getting his elbows out and stays ahead. That's Alfie going off the track slightly on the softs. There we go. Anyway, we look back to Eggy, 70%, and Nathan's blasting his battery. You can see the two Ferraris getting really close to the inside. Alfie trying to move on Dello, wheel to wheel. The two Scuderias, and Alfie gets up in a 5th. Started 10th, 5 places on the opening lap. Using those softs to great effect. Evan leads the Japanese Grand Prix, but Samurai keeping him hot on his toes. Chubson not a million miles away either. So, last week when Samurai was leading, he had IGTC right behind him the whole way, challenging him before the first round of stops. So, Samurai is now in his position, as that's Bluey getting overtaken by Christian. And yeah, Eggy had a better start than Evan. They went into turn 1. And it looked like Evan may have... Oh, Nathan's off into the grass and nearly rejoins into Eggy. But yeah, that's 7th place now for Sven. And yeah, it looked like Evan... Oh, we have a yellow of Warren at the back, spinning around. Really not liking this version of the track this time round. As to the inside, Frosty trying to move on Nathan there. And yeah, it looked like Evan was going to maybe shut the door, but he left the room, went a bit wide, and it looked like Eggy just either understeered or locked up into Evan. And it may have seemed his own error, unfortunately. And because they were all bunched up, it allowed Chubster to hit him. But like I said, I think they've all managed to avoid damage. And that's dropped Eggy far down the order. And it's really helped Samurai, the championship leader. Right place, right time. So, an unfortunate mistake for Eggy, but he can maybe bounce back, as he's not a million miles off this battle. Evan, fastest lap of the race, but Samurai's still right there with him, using a lot of battery, though. Evan looks comfortable. So, potentially, Evan has the pace. He's just not choosing to use his tyres up. Chubster has fallen out of DRS. Grush currently in 4th. Alfie, those softs are definitely going to start falling off soon, and he's going to have to... maybe be a bit fair with Dello. Eggy is closing up, as that is not the line through there. As Nathan sticking with the Mercedes and the two Ferraris about to do battle. As Eggy's catching up to them. Alfie sliding all around the track into Degner 1 and 2. And where does Dello try a move on his teammate? Bit of grass or gravel being kicked up there. As they are single file heading in. Where's Frosty Life? Right behind these guys. Bit of a DRS train all aboard from the Ferrari. 100% for Evan. He's really in control at the moment. Look back to this now 6-car train. Started by the two Ferraris, ending with the two McLarens. And that Frosty's got a lot of battery to burn as the two Ferraris are side by side. Dello now gets ahead of Alfie, blasting all his battery. Eggy round the outside of 130. Oh, on the grass. Has to go wide to avoid Alfie. Moving this way and that. There's Nathan as well, trying to get past Eggy around the outside. Thinks better of it. Bunches them all up, and the two McLarens get side by side trying to avoid one another, and that's lost them time. As Eggy now trying to get past Alfie. Has done so. Alfie has no battery whatsoever. Neither does Nathan. But he's still managing to get past the Ferrari. And heading into turn 1, he just about holds him off. Places his car very nicely indeed. Bit too much on the curb there, but he's got the move done. Eggy up in a 6th, Dello up in a 5th, but look how much time they've lost to Grush and the leaders. Samurai still keeping with Evan. And now the two McLarens are going to have to try and get past Alfie, who I'm sure the softs are really withering away. And they really have to watch their braking here. 3 different compounds between these guys. And Eggy once again kicking up the grass. But he's got a lot of battery to play with. Let's look back to Bluey. Not a million miles off these guys. Warren obviously had that spin. And look, that Samurai has made a big mistake somewhere. Or Evan has... well, he hasn't really blasted his battery. So he's lost DRS. And Chubster's closing on him a bit now. And they're all starting to separate slightly. So we didn't see any tyre graphic come up about pit stops on the formation lap, as we see Frosty saving his battery. We can see Alfie clearly doing the opposite. And 2 seconds now between the top two. We should see Frosty Life get past Alfie now. Should not be really that much of a competition. DRS open, blasts his battery. Alfie does go very defensive, but Frosty Life makes the move and gets past the Ferrari. He's a bit of a sitting duck at the moment with 3%. And now he's got Christian right behind with a full battery, who's going to try and do the same thing. But he's going to be held up slightly through the S section. Look at all these different lines they're taking. Can Christian find a way through? No, Alfie covers him off. On the curb. And can Christian spot the inside line? Not quite. Using his battery though. And Alfie all out of shape and spins. And gets wing damage as well. Struggling so much on those softs that have degraded so fast. And that has spun them round. And Warren might close up too. Running over that piece of debris. So I think a tyre change and a wing change is needed now. See Chubster close to Samurai, who just doesn't seem to be able to save his battery at the moment. Grush 5.3 seconds off. Dello closing in. Bit wide there though. That's lost him time. Eggy down in 6th at the moment. And we see, lock up from Evan there slightly. As, Samurai going to come under big pressure from Chubster, who's looking pretty good to maybe take P2. Blasting his battery with DRS. Will pull to the right. And it is P2 now for Chubster. With the lead Mercedes now in the race. As Nathan's still holding down 7th. He's going to come under pressure though from Frosty Life. As we have a yellow. Oh, Alfie's out of the race. Big crash. We have a safety car. Have Warren and Alfie come together? I can't see the Ferrari. But there must have been a huge crash. And the Ferrari's disappeared. Warren's lost his front wing. That's going to bunch the field up again. I said Warren was closing in on Alfie. And they've come together at 130R, which has led to the Ferrari out and Warren with no front wing. Well, that's going to really lower Navek's lead. Now, we had this situation a few seasons ago where there was a safety car early on. And because on 24 the hards were OP, you could just go to the end. Well, the top 7 can pit for hards, but I really don't know if they'll go 21 laps. Those who have started on the hards have been a bit shafted. So who does this, as Christian's got to drive through, unfortunately. This helps, I guess, everyone behind Evan close up, who were pretty bunched up. So yeah, first safety car of the season. We didn't have one in Australia. We just had a VSC. Oh, first safety car in general in EXFL on this game. As Evan does take it upon himself to pit, and I'm pretty sure the rest will follow in. And it'll be interesting to see who pits onto what. Another set of mediums, hard compound tyres. It's the hards for Evan. Samurai pits onto the hards as well. So does Chubster. And, well, it's a bunch of different constructors here. And up until Eggy. You shouldn't get held up too much. As Christian's staying out, along with Frosty Life. Both McLarens taking a bit of a gamble there. That's going to separate Samurai, who's got ahead of Chubster there. So in the pit stop, Samurai's managed to get ahead of the Mercedes. Don't know if Chubster had a late turn in. But yeah, Samurai back in front now. But he's got 2 McLarens between him and Evan. Bluey's up to 6. I think he stayed out. He did stay out as well. Grush, Dello, Eggy, Nathan, Warren. So all of them have pitted onto the hards. Those who did come into the pit lane. Warren saying he'll take a pen for that, so it looked like it was his fault. Yeah, in terms of how things are looking, Evan finished 4th in round 1. He's looking very in control to win today for 37 points. Samurai won last week and he's 4th at the moment. Obviously the McLarens ahead will allow him up to 2nd or maybe 3rd with Chubster. So that will put him on 43 or 40, meaning Samurai and Evan will be the top 2. Eggy, obviously on 15 points. The few will pit, so that'll put him back up to 6th. We'll put him on 23, which I think will put him 3rd in the standings. But yeah, Evan versus Samurai at the moment. Warren will obviously catch back up to the pack. And I'm just asking Warren what exactly happened with Alfie there. Christian knows he can't serve that drive through until the safety car's in. And this might actually not be the worst strategy gamble from Frosty Life. Right, yeah. So this might not actually be the worst gamble from Frosty Life, because if everyone who pitted onto hards can't go to the end and has to make another pit stop, and Frosty can extend his life of the hards in the first stint, then he may be able to do a one stop as well and keep hold of track position. It's 6 laps only, the difference, but I mean that could still make quite the difference. He's got a rear gunner of Christian, so he's not completely vulnerable at the start. So yeah, might actually not be too bad from the McLarens here. Right, safety car is in. Sorry about that. Evan restarts the race then. I was just checking with Samurai, tries to get past Christian, goes wide, and that might allow Chubster to get ahead as Grush gets ahead of Bluey. And Samurai stays in front of Chubster. I was just confirming with Warren and Alfie exactly what happened. But yeah, Evan leads away from Frosty Life. Like I said, rear gunner of Christian holding on to 3rd ahead of Samurai, who just held on to 4th ahead of Chubster. Grush gets past Bluey. We can see Samurai all over Christian. What about Eggy? 1.3 behind in an RB sandwich. Nathan, then Warren ahead of Dello, who's dropped down the last as Nathan goes into the gravel as Christian is ghosted with the Williams there of Samurai, who's ahead now, who goes deep, and Christian may be able to get back ahead, but Samurai's got the traction and is up in 2P3, and now Chubster will try and get ahead of the McLaren, who runs very wide, and that's going to give no second invitation to Chubster to get ahead up in a 4th. And now he'll blast his battery to stick with Samurai. Frosty 1.3 behind, so Evan's got quite a healthy lead now after the first lap of the restart. Eggy closing to within 1 second of Bluey. Grush right on the back of Christian as well now. He's got a chance to maybe nick a podium from someone. Christian all out of shape on the exit, and that allows Grush to get ahead as Christian decides now is a good time to serve that drive-through. Martin once again blasting a lot of battery. Bluey leading a bit of a train here. He's going to have to get a move on trying to pass him soon. Otherwise, he's going to lose out again. As you can see, the cars ahead. So easy to lose the car through the S section. And how quickly can Samurai get past Frosty Life? DRS will be available next lap, I guess, with only there being one opportunity to use it. Very different to Australia, where there was 4. Bluey pulling away from Eggy slightly there, but they're both pulling away from Nathan, who's under pressure from Warren. Dello all over the back of Warren, who goes defensive to the right, and Dello thinks better of it then. Yeah, Christian serves his drive-through and still has to make a pit stop. Or will Martin be close enough to get Frosty Life heading into 130R, or will he stick behind to get the DRS? Evan already 3 seconds ahead, so Martin doesn't really need to push too much, but he still knows he's got a threat of Chubster behind him. Frosty Life blasting all his battery to stay ahead. The Williams versus the McLaren, and the Williams can't find a way past at the moment. Frosty positioning his car perfectly for defence, but now he's going to come under big pressure. And Martin with a slightly better exit as Frosty kind of dummies him into the pits there. Moves right, and now will fall down to 3rd, maybe even 4th, because here comes Chubster, who has to move very late as Frosty tries to defend again. Goes wide. Chubster sees a chance to the inside, but can't quite get ahead. So Samurai's got the move done, and Chubster hasn't quite got the move done. That was very late from Frosty there. But we saw the off-board. Didn't quite see the on-board of Chubster there. We can see how much time he's losing. Stuck behind the McLaren now, and that's allowing Garouche to close up as Eggy is ahead of Bluey. 4 seconds behind these guys now. Frosty knows. He starts to make a pit stop. The rest, I mean, can they really go to the end? It'll be a very tough tough challenge for a lot of them, as Dello is ahead of Nathan now into P9. Slightly wide, but stays ahead. Warren going to be putting Bluey under pressure now. Christian 3-second pen. Garouche within a second of Chubster, who's still getting held up. Samurai now gets a 3-second time penalty, going wide at the exit of Spoon. Frosty staying ahead of Chubster, who should surely get ahead of him come turn 1 with the DRS if he stays behind. Unless he goes for any sort of move, which he doesn't. That's allowing Garouche to really close up. And now it's a bit of a repeat of the previous lap. The guy in 2nd in the train will get him. Will the guy in 3rd get him? Bit too far behind is Garouche. Before they even cross the line, Chubster's up to 3rd. Frosty down to 4th. And now it's Garouche's turn. That's going very wide there is Frosty Life, so Garouche doesn't even need to wait a lap. He's up in a 4th, and Frosty struggling now, down in 5th. But the thing is, for Frosty, he's got to go long into this race before putting the mediums on. But, I mean, he's 5th at least. He was around 7th, 8th, whatnot. This is still an advantage, considering he's 4 seconds ahead of the next car. Warren got ahead of Dello and Nathan. I think Nathan dropped all the way down to 10th. Or Bluey. Bluey dropped all the way down to 9th while all that was happening. Chubster hasn't actually lost too much time to Samurai. It just seems like he's struggling for race pace at the moment. Australia must have been a really good track for him. Japan, not exactly the case. A lot of tracks are going to be very specific with the drivers. He's still pulled away a bit there, though, in the middle sector. Maybe he has good straight line speed. Maybe that's what's hindering him. Maybe that's why Evan's able to be really confident through the corners. He's led every single lap of this race so far as we approach the halfway stage. His closest rival has a 3-second time penalty. And Chubster has really closed. Gained 6/10 when it was 1.3 to now 7/10 to have DRS. I'm pretty sure he's too far back to make a move this lap. But next lap, he might regain P2. I mean, he's net P2 anyway with the penalty. As we see Frosty Life into the pit lane at the halfway mark. As I think that was the 2 RBs swapping. They love a good battle. And there's a bit of lag going on there. Bluey absolutely clearing past Nathan. Don't know what on earth has happened there. So Frosty's got to have to do pretty much a bit more than half the race on those mediums. Grush looks like he's pushing because he's extending the gap to Eggy. What was 4 seconds, now 4.6. Warren looks like he's, as he kicks up a bunch of whatever that is. Warren keeping Eggy on his toes slightly. Delo's up there as well. 3-car fight for 5th. So considering Eggy was 1st or 2nd, heading into turn 1, dropped down to about 8th or 9th. He's up to 5th now. But any more positions higher than that, it's going to be a right challenge. There's another safety car, he can maybe beat Samurai, who's under big pressure from Eggy's teammate, as the 2 McLarens have swapped, or maybe Christian's made a mistake there. So Samurai will hold on to 2nd heading into the chicane, but heading into turn 1, will he hold on to P2? It's a good exit, to be fair, for the Williams, as Chubster, trying to regain some ground, will blast everything to close in. But he's too far behind. He's revving out in 6th gear for some reason. I don't know what's... He's stuck in 6th gear. And now he downshifts as Bluey gets 3-second. I don't know if Chubster's got an issue there, but we saw it. I'm pretty sure this happened in Canada last season, where Chubster was down in 11th, 12th and whatnot. He's got his battery on as well. So a lot of issues happening for the man in 3rd. Look at that, he's blasted all his battery and he's still keeping it on. We haven't seen him go higher than 6th gear as well. So that's keeping Samurai's hopes of 2nd alive. That's allowing Garouche to close in as he's pulled to 5 seconds ahead of Eggy, who's under pressure from Warren, and Delo have caught him now. And we'll see now, as this is roughly a gear 7-8 straight, he has gone past 6th, but he's kept his battery on. He's got what Nathan used to always do. I'm really... well, he's got his battery turned off now, but Samurai's... It's completely the opposite now. Samurai's managed to save a lot of battery. I don't think I've seen Evan's battery go below 85 once this race. As Chubster just within DRS, I think. Bit of a lockup from Samurai there, who tends to take the chicane a bit better from the Mercedes, who doesn't have DRS. So we see Eggy, then Warren, then Delo. Is Eggy going to hold on to 5th, or is Warren with 20% battery going to try and get ahead? Eggy goes defensive to the right. Warren, he'll probably go to the left, but Eggy moves back over. Warren to the inside. Is there going to be contact? Yes, there is. Warren smashes his way through past Eggy and drops down to 7th. So Warren, the ever opportunistic, getting his elbows out. Just like Kevin, these two are probably the most aggressive. But that has put him up to 5th. And has helped Delo up to 6th as well. Yep, Chubster falling down to 1.7 now. He's trying to save his battery. So that separated them a little bit. Samurai needs to get 3 seconds ahead of him. Just as a bit of a reference, Frosty's 29.7 off the lead. He is on the mediums, and well, you can see he's pushing. So yeah, he went right, then back left to choose his line. Didn't do anything wrong. Warren to the inside, and Eggy left in the space. It looked like he just got barged. So it's pretty much forcing another driver off. As Delo doesn't think going side by side with Warren through 130R is a good idea. Neither into the chicane. But now he'll have a run on Warren, who's going very slow on the exit. But now on the power, he should be able to get past the Haas. Delo up to 5th. Warren powerless to do anything about it. Now Eggy's going to have to try and get back ahead of him. As Warren goes very wide, and was that to let Eggy through, or was that just a mistake? Either way, Warren's now dropped down to 7th, 1 lap later. And that's freed up Delo in 5th. Can't tell if Grush is pretty much staying at the exact same gap to Chubster, who's just falling further behind now. Samurai's lapping kind of the same pace as Evan, a few tenths in it. I'm pretty sure Warren's tyres can't just fall off like that. So, because he was looking actually really quick, making his way through the field, and now he's just started to drop down a little. I mean, the safety car came out lap 6 and came in lap 9. So, they've had their tyres on for 10 laps-ish. Well, okay, Warren's is 1 lap older, to be fair to him. I'm pretty sure in the next 3 or 4 laps, we're going to start to see some struggles. And there's still 11 laps to go. So, those who are going to try and take these to the end, potential puncture territory. Fuel is out the window. That's going to not be an issue for anyone now. So now I think Chubbs has got everything sorted. He can now try and close back to Samurai. But it looks like Evan's quicker than Samurai, who's slightly quicker than Chubster, who's quicker than Grush, who's quicker than Dello. And they're all just kind of, moving away from one another. Actually, maybe Dello's a bit quicker than Grush. The gap has gone under 5 seconds now. And Eggy's trying to get back within a second and has pulled away from Warren, who's into the pit lane. So 10 laps on those hards, and he's already into the pits for mediums. With 10 laps to go, I'm really scratching my head if any one of these guys are going to try and go to the end. Because a pit stop's quite long here. And if you're trying to look after your tyres, it might be enough. It's going to be very interesting to see who pits and who doesn't. Getting a bit more cloudy now. But I'm pretty sure no rain is going to appear. Eggy nearly within a second then. Frosty is 6 seconds ahead of Warren, who can definitely, well, I say definitely take those mediums to the end. He did do 10 laps on hards, 3 of them under the safety car. Now he's got to do 10 laps on mediums. So if we put Frosty 6 seconds ahead of where Warren was behind Eggy, that would put Frosty roughly with Grush if he pitted. Evan carries on. Now we have 10 laps to go. And I wonder if it's just a case of who blinks first. If you pit, I stay out. Warren gets a pen now. Louis down in 10th. Nathan's still running a solid job in 7th. Seems like when it comes to qualifying, the RBs are a lot more closer. But when it comes to the race pace, Nathan still might have a slight edge over his teammate. Christian, I think with that mistake of the as Eggy's into the pit lane. That drive-through mistake for Christian has unfortunately ruined his race a little. So, Eggy pits then. Maybe trying to get the undercut on Dello. Exits the pits behind Frosty Life ahead of Warren. So maybe that was to cover off the Haas. So now we're going to see if Dello responds with a lot of battery to use if he wants to. So I'm pretty sure all of these guys are going to pit again. But can any of them gamble? Because Evan's been in full control of this race, 100%. But if Samurai or Chubster or Grush or Dello try to go to the end, it could be a little close. As Eggy's still trying to get his temps up. As Warren's closed within a second, these two have already had one coming together a few laps ago into turn 1. But Eggy's got a lot of battery. So does Warren, to be fair. But Eggy's using it now. Anyway, across the line, Evan stays out. So does Samurai. And Chubster does as well. The tyres don't look bad, I guess. And Dello doesn't pit. He's not covering Eggy off, who's nearly got Warren outside of a second. But Warren closing now will be fully within DRS range. As they're going to start to close on Frosty, who's closing on Nathan. Who, I mean, he's 1 lap fresher than the 5 ahead of him. Warren fastest lap of the race, 31.5. I mean, what are the leaders doing? Just in the 31s. Warren gets ahead of Eggy. That looked like a cleaner move. So Warren lapping a second quicker than Evan at the moment. He's currently, what, 36 off the lead? A pit stop around here is, what, 22, 3? Christian exits the pit lane, I think. No, he doesn't. He different into turn 1. But anyway, the gap's nearly 6 seconds now as Samurai has been trying for so many laps to get that gap over 3 seconds to Chubster to hold on to P2. But at the moment it's 2.4. 8 to go. Evans staying out. He knows he has to wait until they pit. He has the margin to pit 1 lap later than these guys, but he can't pit because the guys behind him might not pit. So with him staying out, it's making everyone stay out, and it's just a Constantina effect, as it looks like these 5 are committed to go to the end because there's only 7 laps to go after this one. And, well, look, the gap's 17 seconds between Nathan to these guys, as Frosty, Warren, and Eggy are going to soon catch Nathan. So, 17 seconds in 7 laps. I think these 5, who are very separated, will now just start to think, let me save my tyres as Warren's absolutely flying. Let me save my tyres. Let's try and go to the end. I'll tell you what, though, Dello has been taking a lot of time out of Grush. It was 4.6, now it's 2.5. Grush 5 seconds off Chubbs. I mean, these two are still pushing to try and get second. Their level is still 2.4. Now 2.3, back to 2.4. So Samurai really pushing to try and get Chubster out of 3 seconds, which is hurting his tyres. Chubster trying to push to stay within 3 seconds, which is hurting his tyres. Meanwhile, I'm sure Evan's fine. That's the first time I've seen it go below 85. As Frosty gets ahead of Nathan, and Warren gets ahead of Nathan. He went very wide there. As so did Eggy, I think. Lots of grass and gravel being kicked up at Degner. 2. Nathan sliding on the exit there. Those hards don't look great. Eggy will soon catch. It's not been the greatest of races for him. Maybe 6th or 7th is still on the cards. I mean, look at that. 19 seconds off, as Frosty's mediums are also probably going to be screaming soon. 7 laps done on them. We look to the leaders who continue on. Punctures, I don't think, are a thing with the damage we use. Unless it genuinely gets to 100%. Warren all over the back of Frosty. Thinks better of it. Just wants the DRS to be quick. And Frosty's in again. So it has not worked out staying out in the safety car. That'll free up Warren to be 6. And we'll keep an eye on that gap. 19 seconds. So unless he starts taking maybe 2-3 seconds out a lap of Dello, they should hold on. But Dello is really closing up to Grush. And Chubster's gained slightly on Samurai. As we see, Bluey's ahead of Frost, who comes out the pit lane. McLaren 10th and 11th. I know the feeling. Eggy within a second of Nathan. He should be able to get past him soon. Maybe by next lap. Warren. Well, I said it was 19. It's now under 18. So Warren's still pushing. But I mean, he has a 3 second and everything. 1.2 now between Dello and Grush. Grush, who finished 6th last week. Dello, who retired after turn 1 with that crash that Grush was actually involved with. But it was just marked down as a racing incident. As that's going slowly. As Samurai's in the pit lane. Very late in the race. P2. Well, unless he sees a gap to fall out between 5th and 6th. That's very late for Samurai. It's getting dark as well. I'm pretty sure the rain won't come, but it's fully cloudy. There's no blue sky. So now Dello's fighting for a podium. But I just said, oh my, is Dello lagging a lot? Look at that. What is going on? Dello was right on the back of Grush. Now he's nearly 5 seconds behind. It was heading through the chicane. It looked ill, that Ferrari, going really slowly. Oh, and that's just undone all his hard work. It's right back to square one. Really don't know what happened there. Just must have been lag. Samurai does feed himself out. In 5th, there's swaps going on. Frosty ahead of Bluey. Nathan exits the pit lane. So McLaren and RB at the back. Eggy 4 seconds behind Warren. And Samurai has thrown 2nd, 3rd and 4th away at the moment. But can he use those mediums to salvage anything? He would have been about 11 seconds behind Dello if it wasn't for that weird glitch. I'm really not sure why Samurai pitted. The only reason I can think of is genuinely his tyre wear was getting that bad. And there's still 5 laps to go. So if his was bad, the top 4 is going to be very interesting for them. You can tell they've all got high battery. There must be tyre saving slightly. Grush is on the podium then. And what was a threat behind from Dello, no longer. I do not know what's happened to Dello, but he's losing even more time. And what was a hunt for 4th, he now has it, but he might lose it soon. Evan in complete control like he has been all race. I mean, he could pit and probably still be 2nd or 3rd. Chubster, he's put in a really solid effort today to get back on the podium. Grush, 2nd race, P3. I'm sure Samurai will be able to overtake Dello. Will he gap him by 3 seconds? Probably. Eggy slowly closing in on Warren now. But it's been a disappointing race. Oh no, Dello's left. Well, that's definitely going to confirm Samurai 4th. And yeah, Eggy needs to be within 3 seconds of Warren to at least get 5th. And if they push hard enough on Dello's Ghost, Eggy might be able to get 5th back. It's been a disappointing race since turn 1. So Samurai will close in on the next car, which is Grush. I'm pretty sure he won't catch him with 4 to go. He's pretty much essentially got to gain 11 seconds on him and overtake him. Evan, 4 to go then. Let's have a look at these hards. I mean, you can see the graining, but they're looking in good control. It would be a bit silly to pit this late now. But as long as you just look after the tyres, I'm sure they'll be fine. Samurai, fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Frankie's saying his wheel has turned off and it's not coming back on, unfortunately. Right, let's look back to Eggy, setting similar lap times to Warren now. He knows there's an extra 2 points at bay here. I mean, well, actually, if he reports what Warren did to him, Eggy will get 6th. Because I'm pretty sure that's a pen. As though we see the 2 RBs swapping. Nathan back ahead of Bluey. So yeah, fastest lap now goes to Samurai, 30.8. Yeah, that's some 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds, whatnot, quicker. As we see Evan now blasts to 60%. 3 to go then. And a bit similar to like we saw with Sam L last time out in Japan last season. 2nd race for him after taking pole in the season opener. Took pole in round 3 in full wet conditions. It was a champion's drive, a commanding drive, won by, 20 odd seconds, just in full control. And 1 season later, we're seeing some similar fashion from Evan. And as much as a lap 1 incident last time out hurt his chances, he drove through the field really well. Few incidents here and there, but he made up for it with the gaps. Christian, 3rd time pen. And 1 week later, Evan really laying down the gauntlet for his bid in this championship. It's only round 2. It's only early days, but all these points add up. Frosty now gets a penalty. And Dello's still not in his car, unfortunately. He will be classified. Obviously, we know his issue. It's not like he'll get disqualified. Will Warren and Eggy catch? Eggy knows P5's potentially on the cards here. And I'm surprised Dello's AI didn't pit. But maybe they don't pit this late into the race. Samurai is doing all he can to maybe get this podium back. And, well, not really lose any deficit. He was 2.4 ahead of Chubster, so he was going to lose 2nd anyway. At that, actually, no, it went down to 1.9, so he was definitely going to lose 2nd. So he would have been 3rd. So if he can close up to Grush, I mean, there's only 2 and a bit laps to go. Overtake him, get 3 seconds of a gap. He hasn't lost anything. But that is a lot to do in 2 laps. So Samurai may have just thrown 3 points and a podium away here from pitting. But it may have been his only choice due to his tyre wear. Dello now going to come under pressure. Where's AI from Warren? And Eggy's going to have to try and overtake Dello's AI before the end of lap 27. Warren gets ahead of him. 2.2 now. Samurai closing up to Grush, who's trying to hang on for a first podium in his second outing in EXFL Tier 2. So Eggy's got to catch 3.5 seconds in 1 and a bit laps on an AI. Should be doable. And then if Warren gets a penalty post-race, it'll be P5 at least for Eggy. 25 points to Samurai's. Well, at the moment it'll be 37. And Evan, as he starts the last lap, will also be on 37. Last week out, Samurai won the race. Evan finished 4th. 1 week later, Evan is looking to win the race and Samurai is finishing 4th. So they will be level on points. 2 races in on 37. Samurai will be ahead of him because he got the win first. But Evan can take it all in. So Chubster. Grush, I'm pretty sure he's done enough. He can let Samurai go. I don't think he's going to gap him by 3 seconds. Eggy close to Dello now. See 1 second between them, so Eggy should definitely get ahead of Dello, who's unfortunately just not been able to join back. Like I said, he'll still be classified. And the rest behind them should stay how they are in the order. Once again, it's going to be another 9th. Oh, Frosty's now left as well. But we're looking back to the Aston Martin then, who's going through Spoon Curve. Evan Kelly, his older brother, Logan, Tier 2 World Champion. As Samurai does get past Grush, but it won't be enough. He's got a 3-second penalty. Well, 3 seasons later, 1.5 years later, his little brother has rejoined Tier 2, maybe trying to do something special. And this could be the start of it. Evan, round the final corner, is a race winner in EXFL Tier 2. Evan Kelly wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Arab Chubster will come home 17 seconds behind, but it's still P2 and a great haul of points for his first race of the season to kick off his campaign with Mercedes right up to the wall and takes home P2. Samurai will come home 3rd, but with the penalty, it's Grush taking a first podium in his second outing in Tier 2 for P3. Samurai 4th, and it's level pegging between Samurai and Nevik. 37 points between them. Warren 5th. And Eggy will cross the line to take 6th. Dello's AI 7th. And if Warren gets a 5 second, that'll drop him to 7th. Frosty back in his car. Didn't really lose him anything. He'll finish 8th. Bit disappointing for him. But the strategy kind of messed him up a bit, starting on the hards. As that's Christian and Bluey fighting. But obviously Christian has more pens than Bluey. So as much as he has got P10, it's not going to be a point, unfortunately. Nathan 9th again, Bluey 10th, and Christian will be 11th. Both RBs in the points again. And Evan, he said don't expect anything. He tried to lower our expectations, but pole win, led every lap. A hat-trick and a very fine first victory. And that will be one to remember for him. Right, this week allows me to see the result. So yeah, Evan takes victory by exactly 18 seconds ahead of Chubster. Looked in full control today. Samurai obviously made an extra stop, maybe cost him a podium and 3 points. But he still holds on to the championship technically. But he's level with Evan, setting the early predictions outright that it's Evan versus Samurai at the moment. But there could still be others who are yet to race or may not have had the best start, such as Eggy or Yonder and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's get the top 3 in the party. Alright, we have first and second joining the party at the moment. Don't know if Grush will. Let's go to the showroom. Chubster, Evan, can you hear me? Ah. Well, I don't know if I can be heard on stream, but I think the party is glitching. That's annoying. Yeah, it's just one of those where the party's gone all grey and it's not working, which is annoying. Hmm. It's still not working, unfortunately. Right. I might have to end the stream then without interviewing them. I'll probably talk to them after because I'll try and reset my Xbox. But if I reset it, it'll, end the stream anyway. So that has been the Japanese Grand Prix. Well done to Grush for P3. Well done to Chubster for P2. And well done to Evan on getting his first victory in Tier 2. 10th of the way done. 2 to go, 18 left. Next time out will be Bahrain.